Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Haslet, Texas, and good evening, Council. Well, I can announce there is a quorum present. We do have Councilman Mariera out. He is ill, and Councilman Watkins has a sick child, so they are not with us. So if you would bow your heads with me, we'll do the invocation and then stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like us to take a moment, if we would just bow our heads and think of all those folks in our eastern part of the United States, the coastal states that have experienced all the flooding and the just devastation that they're experiencing right now, and also this October 7th, 1 year since the invasion of Israel by Hamas and the unrest that is experienced there. If you just take a moment. Thank you. Father in heaven, we thank you for all the many gifts you bestowed upon us. We thank you for the interplay of each of us coming to each other's aid. We pray your blessings over all. They may be comforted and also get those things that they need. We praise your holy name. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 is proclamations and presentations. I invite Ms. Katrina White to the podium, please. Well, this gives me great pleasure. Ms. Katrina White. Ms. Katrina White handles everything. She can do anything. No. And oftentimes she has to every day. Ms. White's been with us for 15 years. Amazing. Haslet's a great place to work. Just ask her. Katrina, if you join me over here. This service award. This certificate is awarded to Katrina White in grateful appreciation for 15 years of dedicated service to the city of Haslet. Congratulations on your 15th anniversary. Thank you for your commitment and dedication. Thank you. And also, I'd like to present you your 15-year plaque. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to another 15 years. That's right. And then also, your 15-year service pin.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. And again, I can't say enough and how much we appreciate you, Katrina. Thank you. Item 4, citizen participation and comments. Does anyone have any comments they'd like to make to the council? Is there anyone in the audience? Is there anybody online?
Nobody online has signified to speak.
All right, then, let's go to item 5, community interest. Haslet is hiring. We have a number of positions. If you would visit haslet.org employment opportunities. And please refer anybody that you may know to our employment opportunities. 5B, Tarrant County early voting for November 5th, 2024 election. It's October 21 to 25 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., October 26, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., October 27, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., October 28th through the 31st is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., November 1st is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's early voting. You can go to Tarrant County website for elections to find your early voting locations. Item 6, update on active items, projects, event recaps.
Yeah, excuse me, Mayor, can we back up on item 5 just for a second? Would like to, while we're on the subject of Katrina, would like to extend a big thank you for organizing another very successful National Night Out. Another very good turnout with the parks, Public Works here again, organized, helped set it all up. From what I understand, 49 vendors, a record number of vendors out there at the park this time, so you're getting 50 years of experience and just another well-done, organized event down at City Park. Thank you from the City Council.
Thank you, and I will say that she has a lot of help. She's the conductor, and she's got a lot of folks in the orchestra. Updates, Community Park. Update we have there, the locking mechanisms for the tennis court gates have come in, and they should be installed by this Thursday. So that'll complete that project as a whole. Haslet Parkway construction project. That letter to FHWA is finished. It's in review right now, and it should go out tomorrow afternoon. And I'll notify the council by email that it has gone out. Item 7, consent agenda. We have approval of the September 16th regular City Council meeting minutes.
Mayor Halsey,
Yes.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Item 8, public hearings, ordinances, resolutions, and action items. 8A, discuss, consider, and act to approve agreements for City of Fort Worth emergency medical services to the City of Haslet. This has been a topic in discussion for more than a year. The provider now is MedStar, and going back more than a year ago, it was recognized that MedStar their financial model was not sustainable, and attempts to work with them did not yield anything that would be sustainable in the future. The City of Fort Worth, there are 15 member cities. Fort Worth is one of them, Haslet's one of them. But of all 15, City of Fort Worth has over 90% of the call volume. They themselves decided to create their own emergency medical service, their own ambulance service. And then they also invited every member city to join to an interlocal agreement, where they would provide that EMS service to each member city, some or all. Chief Mays and myself have been very involved in all the meetings, in many items, I'll put it that way. The chief and I have been very influential. We have reviewed all these materials. We do recommend that the city of Haslet approve these agreements. We have 3 of them within here that we need to approve in succession. And the first being a memorandum of understanding, the second being the interlocal agreement with Fort Worth, and the third being a unified ordinance that would be implemented. And that's among all the cities would be approving these same documents. So with that, council, it's to you. Now, I did send this out maybe about 2.5 weeks ago for your preview. So council, do you have any particular questions? I do have one, well, 2 of them. One I did not state explicitly. If you read everything, you would have found out. But this service would go in effect July the 1st. Is that correct? July the 1st of 2025. Between now and then is a transition period, but MedStar will still maintain that service. But also, and you can answer this one, Chief, instead of me reading your email. I got a question where MedStar had I'm not particularly, it's a healthcare check on individuals, but it is a particular program that MedStar offered, and the question was, will Fort Worth offer that? So, Chief?
Yeah, I spoke with Chief Davis from Fort Worth and asked him the question, and he said absolutely everything that MedStar currently offers will transition over, specifically to the health checks. And I don't know all the details of that, but that's what we call mobile integrated health. The MIH is part of this program, and they're the ones that go out to the homes and do different home visits and that type thing. And so he's already got his group, the fire department, community risk reduction is a team working with the mobile integrated health to enhance what they're currently offering. So.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Great explanation.
I do have one additional question, if I can, Mayor.
Yes.
Maybe Chief Mays.
What's your question?
Is there, I guess, during this transition, Fort Worth, it's going to be quite a feat, them getting the logistics put together to buy all new vehicles and everything and have everything ready by July 1st. Is there going to be any risk or anything of that July 1st date?
Well, let me add, okay, they're not buying all new vehicles. They're taking over MedStar.
All the equipment and apparatus belong to the system, and it was just managed by someone else. And so that's all part of this collective agreement saying we all agree to get out, then Fort Worth will take over the assets, and then we have a proportional share if we chose to get out.
So all member cities, so is a cooperative, the original agreement's a cooperative agreement, in that every member had a share in all the assets of MedStar. So through this agreement, we will be assigning the city of Fort Worth our assets. That's part of this. Now, if we should, approve this tonight and a week from now, we decide, you know what, we want to start our own ambulance service at $2 million a year, then go for it. Is that I believe our asset is, I don't recall the exact number, but it's approximately $55,000 and some change. That's what our asset is.
So can I follow up a little bit with that question then? Is there going to be an evaluation annually on the maintenance of that, or as the area grows, if we need to get additional vehicles?
So the way that the system was set up by paying by the unit hours, so they'll essentially determine, what it costs to run per hour. And then what they've done to make sure we're not paying for other cities' growth is they base it strictly on the total number of hours in our community multiplied by that number, so that it's all factored in.
Okay, well, the answer to your question is, that answer is yes. Every year, and as with MedStar, there was a board, and all the members, cities, go to that board and be represented and have a voice. And this Board of Governors is set up the same way.
I had one question. How will citizens, what's the plan to notify them of the transition or the change?
If this is approved tonight, we'll put it on our website.
Probably recommend a newsletter as we get closer.
And it's been in the media quite often also. Nothing specific to Haslet, but that Fort Worth is creating its own EMS service and that MedStar is being dissolved. But we will put it on our website specific to Haslet.
I guess another thing I would say, so interfacility transfers, hospital to hospital type thing, is no longer going to be managed by MedStar. And each city, it's up to them to do what they want, but really the way that the ordinance was written, it's stating if you're going to be an ambulance transport in the system, you have to have a Fort Worth permit. So right now, we don't have any true facilities that use an ambulance other than children's, and teddy bears are part of that. Anything else is 911, but that was something that's a different change in there, but we're covered.
Well, let me clarify something. It's not up to the city. It is between hospital to hospital. These are hospital transfers, either from one hospital to another or a hospital to a rehabilitation facility, such as that. That is between those entities. Purely between those entities. Now, if there was an ambulance service that operated out of Haslet, Texas, to fulfill that, they would have to get permits from Haslet to operate. Any other questions? All right, then. Then the first item, if you could, is the MOUA. This is the Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement. This document, by executing this is the document that states, yes, we agree to this, and this is the document that allows for the for MedStar to be dissolved. So this would be the first item to consider.
So can we have to make 3 separate items?
Yes.
We can't approve all the agreements? Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the MOUA EMS for City of Fort Worth Emergency Medical Services to the City of Haslet.
Motion is made to approve the Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement between the City of Haslet and City of Fort Worth with regard to the EMS service be approved. Is there a second?
Mayor Halsey, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. The next item is the EMS interlocal agreement. This is all the very specifics with regard to the services to be received, City of Fort Worth's responsibilities, the City of Haslet responsibilities, and also in here includes our payment stipulations. This fiscal year, because this service will start 1 July 2025, we're paying for 1 quarter, and that's approximately $10,000 and some change. The following year, that it's anticipated that that annual obligation, that would be the 25-26 fiscal year, would be approximately $54,000. We have budgeted in our fiscal year 24-25 $40,000, so we have more than sufficient funds to carry this fiscal year.
Real quick question on that, just to clarify. So we're going to have a payment both to MedStar for 3 quarters and then
No.
for Fort Worth for 1 quarter?
That answer is no. That was part of the demise of the financial model of MedStar. We paid nothing. No one paid anything. And they were trying to fund the program through monies they received from the interfacility transfers, hospitals to rehabilitation or convalescent homes, and likewise from there to the hospital, because they got a specific fee. And actually that fee was probably a little higher than what it should have been, but that was their revenue source. But also they got other revenues through patient insurance that paid. Not all of it paid. And that was the huge risk, in that the financial model MedStar had was not sustainable and able to grow with the demand of North Texas Metroplex area. So that is all the essence of why we are doing this. So there is no payment to MedStar. This is one payment to the City of Fort Worth. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Can you scroll back up the top? Mayor Halsey, I'd like to make a motion to approve the and one up above it, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah, 8A. To approve the EMS interlocal agreement for Haslet.
Motion is made to approve the EMS interlocal agreement between the City of Haslet and the City of Fort Worth. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do I have a second? Yes, Mayor, I'll second that. There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. The next agreement is the Uniform EMS Ordinance. Again, all municipalities are executing, or those who choose, I believe all of them have, to execute this ordinance. And it repeats much of what some of us in the ILA and other responsibilities as well.
And I'll just add something. So the point that was brought up earlier was that Fort Worth won't become the EMS provider until July 1st. And so something I'm thinking about this evening is with this ordinance, as this ordinance replaces the language in our code of ordinances saying MedStar is no longer going to be our EMS provider and the city of Fort Worth will be the EMS provider, I would have you tonight, if you were to adopt this ordinance, have the effective date be July 1st, 2025. Is that correct? They didn't ask for that, but otherwise, I don't know how it would make any sense. Because we can't have this language be in effect tomorrow, essentially, when MedStar is still the provider until July, or until June 30th. So that's
Good.
what I would recommend.
Good point, and I was under I thought it was in here maybe because of all the documents I've read, I thought the July 1 effective date was in here.
Just in case it's not.
All right, very good. We'll take your word on that. So whoever makes a motion to approve this is to approve this, go back to the top and sit there, please.
Mayor Halsey, I'd like to make a motion to approve the uniform EMS ordinance effective date July 1st, 2025, between the city of Haslet and the city of Fort Worth.
Motion is made to approve the uniform EMS ordinance effective July 1st, 2025, between the city of Haslet and the city of Fort Worth. Is there a second?
Mayor Holsey, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8B, discuss, consider, and act on a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute amendment number 1 to the Tarrant County interlocal agreement for Keller Haslet Road extension construction cost reimbursement. Last year, we had executed an ILA due to right-of-way acquisition issues that did not transpire. The project did not, but the previous ILA had an execution date or termination date, which we have passed. Therefore, this amendment number 1 renews that agreement. That's, unless you have any questions, that's what I have to offer.
Is it a whole new authorization, or are we just extending the
No,
authorization?
the amendment number 1 is what's
So
being
we're
asked to be
extending, okay.
approved, and it amends certain items in the existing ILA, and I only believe it's like 3 lines.
Mayor Holsey?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Amendment 1 to the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute for the Tarrant County interlocal agreement for Keller Haslet Road extension construction.
Motion is made to authorize the mayor to execute amendment number 1 to the Tarrant County interlocal agreement for the Keller Haslet Road extension construction cost reimbursement. Is there a second? There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8C, discuss, consider, and act to award the contract for construction of the Haslet Fire Station Administration Addition and approve to execute agreement for special inspections and testing services. These are 2 separate agreements. First one is the award of the contract to the contractor, and the second is to approve execution of agreement. Mr. Rogers, do you want to present this?
Sure, do that. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We did open bids for this back in September at 4, at 3 in the afternoon. We had a good turnout for bids on this project. The lowest bid came out to be a JC Commercial Incorporated. They're out of Louisville, Texas over here. The engineer and the architect both bidded their ability to perform this contract and complete it, and both feel very strongly that these people can do this.
So we are asking that you approve the contract with the JC Commercial Incorporated for $2,563.77. $777 and no cents. And we would like to have a 5% contingency on that bid for $128,188.85. That's your number one thing, and then number two will be the actual agreement with the contractor to do testing work on this project.
Go ahead and, okay, there are special testings, inspections, and testing services
They'll be
that
doing-
need to be conducted that we have no qualified people in Haslet to do, and these people offer this service regardless of the city size. These are inspecting welds and concrete and things of that nature.
Everything from the bolt up to the welding on it, soils, concrete mix, steel, everything that shows up on this, just about, they will be doing lab work for.
So if we could scroll down to the bottom, right there. So the first item we're asking is to award the contract. It is award the contract to JC Commercial Inc. with a 5% contingency. Is there any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the contract to JC Commercial for the amount of $2,563,777 with a 5% contingency amounting to $128,108.85.
Motion is made to award the project to JC Commercial, Inc. for $2,563,777 and a 5% contingency of $128,188.85. Is there a second?
Mayor Halsey, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. Next item is approving the mayor to execute agreement with Braun Intertech Corporation for the amount of $41,500 or $655, and that is for the special inspections and testing services.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve awarding the contract to Braun Intertech Corporation for the amount of $41,655 for the inspection and testing process of the fire station.
Motion is made to approve the mayor to execute the agreement with Braun Intertech Corporation for $41,655. Is that the motion?
Yes.
That is the motion. Is there a second?
Mayor Halsey, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mayor. So it'll come out of the same capital project fund, it's the exact same amount, still under budget. And this is an additional testing that our city engineer cannot complete or cannot do themselves, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Correct. And just to focus on that, our budget for this is $3,482,110. The total for the award, the contingency, and Braun Intertech Corporation is a total of $273,620.85. So we have more than sufficient funds. Very good.
That, Mayor, just real quickly too, that will maintain those funds there until, in case there's any change orders or anything that may come upon?
Correct. We'll maintain that when the project is over with, that those monies go back into the general fund. They're in the general fund now, but they're there for other city needs, and we have plenty of them. Very good. So there was a motion made to approve. There was a second. Any further questions or discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion is approved. It's unanimous. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm sure Chief Mays also thanks y'all. He's ready to get this going.
Item 8D is consider an act regarding community facilities agreement between the City of Haslet and GA Haslet Development Incorporated for the Northglenn Phase 3. Council, you have before you a community facilities agreement for Northglenn Phase 3. It is very, if not identical to all other community facility agreements that we have executed with all subdivisions. Do you have any questions? If not, then I would entertain a motion, please.
Mayor Holsey,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Community Facilities Agreement CFA between the City of Haslet and the GA Haslet Development, Inc. for the North Glen Phase 3.
Motion is made to approve the community facilities agreement between the City of Haslet and GA Haslet Development Incorporated for the North Glen Phase 3 project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? I call for the vote. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. 8E, discuss, consider, and act regarding the professional services agreement between the City of Haslet and the Safe Built Texas LLC for third-party building plans review and building inspection services. Mr. Thetford.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As y'all are aware, we just lost one of our employees, a building inspector, that left a vacancy for basically a lot of inspections and everything that I'm taking care of right now. Just so happens about 48 hours after our building inspector resigned, I received a phone call from this company, Safe Built, Mr. Brad Bond. He said, hey, can I throw you a little sales pitch here? And I said, what do you got? It said building inspections and plan review services. And I said, when can we meet? And it was perfect timing. So we met. They sold me. It was a great presentation. They provided an agreement. We had that agreement reviewed by the city attorney, had a few little tweaks in there and changes. Everything was accepted by Safe Built. And it's here for you tonight to look over and approve tonight. If we can get this approved, we will eventually start sending out some of our inspections to Safe Built this week.
I would like to make note that Mike Thetford has spoke with and interviewed other inspection service companies. This was not the only one, but they just happened to call, and he's done a thorough job. I would recommend to follow his recommendation. Do you have any questions for Mr. Thetford? If not, could we have a motion, please?
Mayor Holsey,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the professional services agreement between the City of Haslet and Safe Built Texas LLC for third-party building plans review and building inspection services.
Motion is made to approve the professional services agreement between the City of Haslet and Safe Built Texas LLC for third-party building plans review and building inspection services. Is there a second? There is a second. Any further discussion?
I did have one question. Is there plans to try to go out and get another building inspector, though, while this is, okay,
Absolutely.
thanks.
To expound on that, the job description is in place, has been, and we will be advertising that, probably get that out tomorrow, or this week, at least this week.
Yeah,
So
it's ready to go.
No, absolutely. But even with that, with what we know is coming, we will still keep these folks for services. Very good. So there was a motion and a second made. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Item 8F, discuss, consider, and act to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, providing for the enforcement of certain traffic signage and roadway markings. The impetus of this ordinance change is that quite some time back is that the city of Haslet submitted to TxDOT specific program, and that was to place signage on all those subdivision entries into FM 156 is to put do not block entries fore and aft of each intersection, and also mark the roadway with hatching to define that area. And so that's what the TxDOT stated after their plan reviews, stated that we would have to submit an ordinance to them that enables enforcement. And that's what this ordinance does. Thank you, Mr. Page. And also, as Mr. Page was reviewing this ordinance and reviewing the maps, he noticed that our current ordinance did not have, which it needs to be, has to be stipulated in our ordinances, the enforcement of no-through traffic through Ashmore Farms. And so he included that, and that's the first thing you see in this ordinance, but that's why that's there. Do you have any questions, council?
See the sign markings on the last page there, are we going to incorporate the signage for the school zone that we?
No, this is very specific to this. That is a separate project, an item put forth to TxDOT. What you see is only for this.
Okay, so we're not going to try to incorporate it so we get one item pushed through to cover all of it?
No, that's not possible. TxDOT will not accept those type bundling. They are currently reviewing the items for speed limit reductions on FM 156 and the school zone. Those are separate projects in front of TxDOT.
So I had a question as well. So I know that, like the Vines, they had also had one of the no-through traffic signs. That would have to be a separate ordinance to do different subdivisions? Since this one is only Ashmore Farms, does each subdivision have to be
We would come back
different?
and modify this ordinance of no-through traffic,
And then we could list all the subdivisions that it would apply to?
the streets as well, that it applies to.
Okay.
Mr. Page?
Yes, that's correct. So under state law, there's no traffic enforcement measure that specifically deals with no through traffic. And so just like when you see signs that direct truck traffic a certain way, that's actually not a state law either. That has to be adopted via ordinance, and it has to be specific to those streets to even make it possible to be enforced. Otherwise, there's no relevant state law provision that we could have the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office point to issue a citation. Instead, it would just kind of be a voluntary form of enforcement. I'll also say Mayor Pro Tem reached out last week about some legal questions, and so I'm happy to answer those in closed session should the council decide to seek to do that, just for consultation with the attorney with those type of questions about enforcement with this ordinance. I'm happy to answer that in closed session.
Okay.
All right. I will mention that enforcement with regard to FM 156 and blocking our enforcement, there are statute or provisions in the transportation code, very specific, that allow for this enforcement. But again, we have to state it in our ordinance for those to apply. And that's why that's being done.
One last question, and again, the way I sort of looked at this here, not going against the vines and that, is this was just the traffic on 156, because I did notice here this didn't have the no-through traffic or have it blocked off for the Blue Mound exit on Birchwood, even though Birchwood Lane was mentioned. So is this just specific to what 156, and we would have to address the other roads separately?
So Birchwood was added to this ordinance when I was looking online. Again, sorry, I don't live here, but so I didn't know this until I started drafting the ordinance. Birchwood already has a sign that says no through traffic. And so that's why when I was addressing, I said, we'll just address every part of this neighborhood. Part of it is to place new signage on the no through traffic on, I think, Ashmore Place. And it also addressed the Birchwood, as well as a third roadway that could potentially be used as cut-through traffic. So again, this will address Ashmore Farms, any future subdivisions, whether or not they already have a no-through traffic sign or not, or whether they want one to be placed there. That would need to be, in my opinion, addressed in the ordinance itself, street by street, so that there is some sort of enforcement mechanism in place should sheriff's office choose to try to enforce it with their traffic officers.
So, council, if either of you have a subdivision that reaches out, a member or a resident of it, that is looking at or wanting such an item, please forward that to me first.
So, Mayor Halsey, I would like to make a motion that we discuss item 8F in executive.
Does that executive session have relevance to this ordinance?
Yes.
All right, then we will hold item F until after the executive session. Item 8G, discuss, consider, and act to appoint applicants to serve as members of the city's boards and commissions. And we have two, Mr. Wallach to be appointed to HEDC Place 4. HEDC is Type A. And Ms. Laura Slaughterhoff to be appointed to Place 8, Alternate 1, and that's the HCEDC, which is known as Type B.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
Hopefully I don't have to be specific. Can I just say, I'd like to make a motion to appoint applicants to serve as members of the city's boards and commissions as presented.
Motion is made to present the applicants to those positions as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8H, discuss, consider, and act on nominees for Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors and approve resolution authorizing the mayor to submit the nominees to TAD if there are any. Council, you don't have, you're not voting. You can have up to 5 nominees in your package, or 2 nominees that have sent to the city expressing their interest to be nominated. And you could nominate someone here in the city to be on the board. You can nominate yourself. But it's a lot of work. But nonetheless, so the individual nominees, if you'd open that up. The first one is Ms. Saeed. She is a previous board member, lives in Colleyville, Texas, in Tarrant County. Our next nominee or individual requesting to be a nominee is Mr. Piante. He is a current board member and happens to be serving as president of the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors. Those are two who have sent their biographies to the city, and it's yours, counsel.
Mayor Halsey, I think it was Ms. Said is the one that presented to us.
She did.
Yes. And I guess my other question would be, this is 5, we nominate one for all 5? I think we get
No,
5 votes.
You
or just
can go up to 5. You don't
Up to
have to
5.
nominate anybody. So you can go up to a maximum of 5 nominees that can be submitted to Tarrant County. I'll say that I do recommend both candidates. I know them, I'll say professionally, and their capacities, and I appreciate their values on with regard to taxes, that they're striving to minimize that. And not so many folks are that outspoken about it.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Ms. Said and Mr. Puente to the TAD, as TAD nominees, and authorizing the mayor to submit the nominees to TAD.
Motion is made to submit the nominees of Ms. Said and Mr. Piante to the Tarrant Appraisal District as Haslet's nominees for the board. Is there a second? Yes, Mayor, I'll second that. Any further discussion? Any other nominees? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. All right, with that, I recess the open session. It is 7:52, and if you will join me in the boardroom, we'll commence with our executive session. So meet me there in 5 minutes, please. Oh, let me make the City Council reserves the right to adjourn into executive session authorized by Section 551.071 to consult with our attorney. Also with Section 551.0, that covers it right there. So with regard to Mayor Pro Tem's desire to discuss 8, what is that item? 8F. And also with regard to Sweetgrass Road failures. I'll meet you in the boardroom in 5.
active speaker. From here, if somebody else was talking.
That's awesome. I'm just glad that the value's where it's at. This helps make sure we can get all the things that we need to do.
Oh, we were talking about Mike about it today.
Oh,
With all the stuff that Perry put into the building bid, between your furniture and everything you want, there's enough money for it. And all of that by a generator.
no, yeah. Thank you.
Speaking of generator, they found things gone back and forth, they're circulating heat, like the heater for the block here. It's just on
Again?
Yeah, it's this little plug-in device.
Yeah, I know, it's not, but
He
I mean,
says it'll cause coolant to leak out in the spirit.
So are they fixing it? Or we're
They're
just,
supposed to fix it.
okay,
But it's a relatively inexpensive thing by
okay.
comparison. It's probably $12, but get it for it. I mean,
Right, and I guess depending when they get it all done, whether I can get it thrown on last year's thing or not, I don't know. Trying to figure that one out. If not, we'll see y'all. See you tomorrow. It is what it is. I mean, better than $10,000. Oh, yeah. So how long, so how long until, now that this is approved, what's the next step?
once the mayor signs the contracts, we send them back to them. They get them all signed on their end, we get them back from them. Probably within 2 weeks from tomorrow, we should be trying to schedule a pre-con meeting. That's what we're trying to do.
Cool.
how nice will that be?
Yeah. That'd be good. So I guess I saw a guy out there today measuring our sign board. So is that project going?
So he's supposed to meet with me tomorrow. I gotta double check because I don't know if I'll have to quite send Adam. He's supposed to come out there, give it, and he's probably gonna have to pre-check ahead of time. He's gonna go there, get a final quote and all that because at budget time I said, hey, we don't have a lot of time. Give us what you think worst case scenario, and he threw out a number that he said he thought was more than comfortable. So he's gonna use the same frame. He's just gonna knock all the center pieces up, throw it out of the way, and fit in those screens. Now, the power, for y'all, I think there's conduit in there. If not,
I believe that, I'm pretty sure.
we'll get off the flagpole and we'll figure how to do that. But, and then he asked if they were gonna all show the same thing. He said, no, we'll be able to show independently, but we'd like you to. You just want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally not against rotating things through there, but you know, sometimes there's just specific events I need to do when the city's doing something different.
Yeah, that was the idea. The told him it has to specifically be able to be set remotely and then be able to operate independently, but also if we wanted to.
Sync.
So he said that would be good.
Cool.
So that should be good. The mayor said he wanted all these capital things done early, so we were trying to get them done like now. They're working on the truck quote. He did say if we run that budget wasn't sufficient, that he said there is sometimes a decent used market that he can get gently used, but for a considerable savings.
Did he end up buying a city vehicle or not buying a city vehicle? I knew he cut it early when he overreacted to the market dropping, but I didn't know if he added it back.
I did not. So we're on track to do our stuff early. And that the new terminal thing, also like exciting. We'll have to find a time where Steve and I look at this to make sure. I really kind of want us to maybe start or click with that no matter what. Still work with half, but also work on the side, just taking it all over. I really don't think they're doing much. I think
Oh, did you ever get a chance to ask him, he said that's up to Tarrant County?
Yeah.
When you try to do the red ones, the harder.
Do y'all ever go through, we had pretty good luck going through 5-star Carrollton. That's the buy board
We're
person.
a little bit to Tahoe, so we'll have to go Chevy. But,
That's, we're gonna get Tahoe from there. I think that's who we went through.
I don't know, yeah, we'll check into it. I mean, 'cause I think Caldwell,
Caldwell Chevrolet.
yeah, but, yeah, I mean, just whoever we can get it off of the buy board contract, I don't care, because I've got to decide, are we gonna outsource everything and I just write one check, or are we gonna manage things and, just figure that one out. Actually, Stephen does.
Yeah, I hadn't had anything looked, I was maybe dark when I got home, but I saw they have
Did you
started,
dirt back?
they started moving dirt.
They did?
So,
I was wondering if they were actually doing it.
how deep in the pile it is, but that's what she said, man. So,
Okay.
we're,
Know what you gotta do with that.
they were hauling it off, so it just disappeared.
Well, good.
What is
I was
that?
wondering
What is
if
that
that's-
paying you?
Laying back in our giant eyesore of, I mean, like.
But is that stuff that those people push down on you?
No,
It just kind of been there?
that's what we dug back out, that we technically had put on the roof. That whole thing's such a mess, though, it's still a mess. But we pulled all that out at the tune of $40,000. So now it's, at the time I came out, I measured out to be about 8,000 cubic yards, but shrinkage is wonderful and all kind. That's 122 at least loads. So 18 load loads, 122 to get it out.
Man, is there not,
That does work for free.
are they say, are they moving it? Somebody's wants it.
Well, that's the problem, is dirt is always free. It's always free, it's trucking. That's what costs so much.
Mhm.
So this, now we also have like 10,000 people. Majority of people on the good old marketplace are like, hey, I have a hatchback, can I take like 3 shovels? No. Like that kind of stuff. One person's like, hey, if you can load and transport, I'll take it. I'm like, yeah, no, that's the cost. Like, but this guy, he lives in Rome, offices in Keller, he owns all the trucking and machine. He just said, listen, I take it in 3 days. I'm like, you can come and go as you please. Take this pile, leave it flat if you will. Take what you will, hopefully all of it. And knock on wood, day one he did okay. 3 more days and hopefully we're done. So, if that's the case, I'll do it. And then I don't know what's going on, but literally 2 dozen calls now. For just mostly cold calls where people go, hey, are you selling property? Like, so is there something like, just maybe they're kicking off on the fact that Toyota dealership, or maybe there's something else going on that makes that more attractive. Man, nobody's serious, but a lot of
Could be.
people call it.
People are learning that Toyota's going
I
on,
mean,
so.
it's just like a ridiculous amount of people calling. My parents still get called.
Do you have a magic number?
Yeah, I told them we could start talking if it was above 1.6. That's, and then most of them like, oh, never mind. They're hoping to find somebody that'll just like hand to them for $10. But that's what we had the last time. The last time we had a contract for 1.4 with free and clear, which was 1.6 with all the compensations. So I think we would still entertain that. I think any more would be unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, I love like $5 billion going into it.
Sure.
But the sad thing is you think, okay, that's a huge number. You know, try to buy exactly what we have anywhere else that's that much or more. You know, I could afford to pay the tax on. I've already told my wife, she still doesn't see the grass. I said, what can we afford? I said, about $350,000 on our house. I said, on some ag exempt land. I said, we get a lot, we get 10 acres. But I said, you can't have that $1 million home. You can't pay the taxes.
We don't know if you gotta watch what county you're in, because some of them have to be greater than 10 acres. So you gotta know, you gotta watch that too.
I try to tell her, I said,
Now, there's easy ways to get, there's really easy ways to get an ag exemption. Depending on what county you're in. Montague County, all you gotta do is call this one guy up, tell him you'll let him put all the beehives he wants to on your place. Cause he'll bring about 8 beehives, put them on the place, and he'll take care of all the paperwork and everything you gotta do. They'll be there for about 2.5, 3 months, and they're gone. Every year.
We've had
Just telling you, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, but I don't know, like.
'Cause otherwise-
Honeybees.
Yeah, but compared to $8,000 or $9,000 a year in taxes, honeybees swarming around out there in the spring. Ain't that big a deal, and they're all tame honeybees, that's no big deal.
I can remember I had honeybees forever.
I grew up
And
with dad had
honeybees come into that property all the time. They set up on the side of houses and stuff, and no matter what, I catch them off guard, not knowing where they were with a lawnmower, and oh, they ate it. And before I know it, I'm stung 10,000 times.
Yeah, it's easy. It's
But
easy.
fingers crossed they haul that dirt off. There's no craziness with it, but I agree. Now I mean, it wouldn't hurt anything, it just annoys me.
Sure.
It's gone. When we get to that guy from Core, I've seen him get back on the hit ones, it's nice and pretty. But every time he's either in Hawaii or he's in Alaska or he's got broken people.
He's in Florida, he's in North Carolina.
Well, he's probably there exactly.
He's not, he's going to be.
I'm sure. And then the neighbor behind us, they're sold, and whoever's, I mean, it's Singapore, I think, and they're leasing it to whoever, it's just that makes me work.
Yeah, because they live in one, they just want to get out. That's all the reason they got it for.
Yeah, well, look at what they said they sold it for, I think, I mean, it was pennies, so, I think it was like $100-something thousand, but.
Probably because they wouldn't, that way they're taking the loss away. Otherwise, they'd have to go on that. Attorney's fees. Yeah, I saw all the stuff that's stacked up on that, put all those barricades around, security barriers up all over the place.
Well, this should be concrete blocks. I was gonna put a giant sign that said medieval times coming soon, because they're putting medieval times, but my wife stops me from that decision.
See y'all tomorrow.
Well, that's all. That was really nice.
Yeah, it looks great. I'll be around here.
Yeah, I mean, I think hair oil, plus it's nice, you know, see directly into that, it just kind of picks it up. And, I like Sydney did the background, it was real clean.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
That looks great.
So, I don't know, Steven thinks about it, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I kept finding myself looking over here, that was a clearer picture than that.
Yeah, you know what, to be honest, in retrospect, I wish we just had, I wish we had them just a little bit bigger, that's about as big as you can get. Like,
What is that, 75?
85.
Is that 85?
Like, I have 105, but yeah, it's way better than the projector. And I try to get them to get rid of the lights, because it's better without the lights. But, you know, they thought it was too dark.
For the whole 4 people we ever have here watching.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look online, there's such a small amount of people that look. Like, yeah, 4 views and 3 views.
Yeah, but I like that
Scratch
screen.
your name on it, you notice it, and he wanted to like it, but you can vote, like on the handout, it's like, pretty awesome, like you could just call for a vote, and maybe hit yes, no, or abstain. And you could put another screen on this wall and project it. You know, so you just add one more screen, a little lead controller, keep it open to that website, and that would be all you had to do. It's good, I don't know, what else is
No, I put my dog down last night, so it's so yeah. And it was time was coming, but she had a tumor. It was swollen her head, pushing her MRI out. But it was push on the nerves. She couldn't open her mouth up a lot, so she's not been eating as much as last night. Her tongue, so she was licking the. We went to some soft food. She was licking, and just her tongue got stuck out, and it swollen. And it's like I came in from the football game. I'm like, oh no, baby. We're going now. This is great.
There are people, those at the end of life pretty much, and you could just tell she was kind of lethargic. She had these lumps all in her, thought it was probably cancer, but the vet said, you know, that's probably what it is. Like, she's also, you know, she's at the max, you know, like just, if she's not hurting, I'm like, yeah, if she doesn't look like she's in pain, so she's probably fine. And so she got to the point where she just had no energy, she looked really rough, we're like, hey, well, we're going to take her in the morning. She passed in the night. That's the best circumstance.
Sure.
Now, my sister, she lived down here with us. They paid a lot of money for this, like, top of that, and they paid about $800 or $900 for training. That's not really great, because he would never walk in front of you, he would never go to the door unless you made a command. You could tell him to stay somewhere and put treats in front of him, like bug him, but he wouldn't get them. Like, no. Like, so he was good at that. And they had this house over in Saginaw, and it was fine. And they moved, and they temporarily took him to my parents' house. He dog just like tearing everything up, just like smacking into stuff, and they moved into a new house and still doing it, taking the vet, and that's like, the dog is blind. Well, like, since when? But the dog's been blind for a very long time. She's like, this isn't new. She's like, this is like, he's been blind for years. She's like, we've never had an issue with him. She's like, he just knows his surroundings really well where you were. She's like, we play fetch with the dog. She's like, wow, there's senses like he just, in a small space, knows, anticipates where you used to throw it. Like the dog figured it out. She's like, well, and the little one. She's like, well, don't make me blind. And then I was like, dogs don't care. It's the happiest dog in the world. It's not a human. They get over that stuff. They adapt.
Yeah.
Like you don't have hurt feelings because you can't see. He doesn't know difference. Dog's happy you're happy. But they recently had to remove one of the eyes and sew it shut because he had something going on. But it wasn't a tumor. It was some kind of thing. And somebody else suggested, why don't you put the dog down? Well, she's like, well, dog can't see, but he's happy. He's learned to like definitely walk at the pace you are and just kind of keep his nose against you,
Yeah.
so he doesn't smack into stuff. And at home, just full speed, he has to be really careful.
And that's what we kind of were feeling bad as we were watching the process, and one day the eyeballs can come out. My wife says, she goes, I really feel pretty selfish. We kept the dog around we should have.
Well, it's,
And
you know, I thought such a sense. She said, it's the point that it looks like they're just, you know, any kind of suffering or anything, you know, we're going for that. And they're like, for now, they feel like he's getting around pretty good still. And, you know,
I get it, yeah.
But I have seen the opposite. I go out to get a call to the Chapmans, look on the best grandfather died building a tree house or something. Y'all actually finished for the kids. They had a dog that had tumors everywhere growing out of that. The dog was blind, but awful, just tumors everywhere. And it would snap at people and miserable. That dog showed up, put down. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. Steven said he would just talk to you tomorrow. He was.
Yeah, well, I came out here and got it. It's that multi-factor stuff. So every time you log into something it's not used to, it wants to send a thing. I couldn't figure out at a second. I'm not able to.
Well, I had lost, I didn't know where my phone was, and my computer was being retarded, and so I had to do, well then I had to do the Duo app. Well, I don't have my phone, so then I couldn't get into my computer to do anything. And,
Yeah, but that's good and bad. They do make a USB drive you put in there, hit the button, and basically it's supposed to make sure you're some other means of verifying. It's just for other people to still.
yeah, I mean, the world's corrupt. I get it. I just should lose my phone on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like at school districts and stuff, you have to have a phone. Some people, hey, I don't need my personal phone. You got to. Like every single time you go to log in, send you the code, you do it every time. I'd rather do like a thumbprint scanner or something. Or like a thumbprint scanner, and you got both of those on the side.
Sure. All right. Hopefully it'll be better.
I'm just glad the Clerk disappearing. I hope that guy doesn't change his mind. But he said it's filling in like this massive. He said he needs 20 times what I have. I said, well, we can have all of that. I'll try to get some other people. Everybody's looking for a dump spot. And I thought like this stuff. Some of it has rebar and junk in it that came off other sides. Oh, I'm in that spot here. I don't care. He's like, I'm gonna sit in the bottom of the John Hole. I'm not perfect. This is the perfect match. You never had enough for it. Like, you know, trucking, you know, like he's again. He's like, I just gotta get in and out. I'm like, whatever makes this expedite.
Yeah.
And he's been good so far, so.
That's awesome.
Some days you get lucky, but it took a long time to find that person.
Yeah. Worth your wait.
Yeah.
Save some money.
Yep. And then right as we finish it all, and some other buy, and then a little built up in there.
Yeah.
You still see Scott, Sean up there ever?
No. I'm waiting to this is, not that I haven't give a shit, but I don't understand how they're able to still be building if we say you can't build. I don't under.
Because nobody forcibly stops it, but yeah, I mean, I find that, what do you go do for the curb? They just keep them in a junction, and then they're roofing ETJ, and then you're high, you can strangle holes on the water, but.
Very good. Are you recording? Okay. The time is 8:39 p.m. All the members of the council are present, and we will resume the open session. If we could go back to item 8F. Is discuss, consider, and act to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, providing for the enforcement of certain traffic signage and road markings.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, providing for the enforcement of certain traffic signage and roadway markings.
Motion is made to approve ordinance amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, providing for the enforcement of certain traffic signage and roadway markings. Is there a second?
Mayor Holsey, I'll second.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. Going back to item 10, there is no action to take from the executive session. Future agenda items, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, ILA, will be coming probably, I'm hoping the end of the month, but that's like last year. But everything stays intact with our current ILA until the new one comes. Next item is Encore Power Line Direct Berry, and we had that at the previous council meeting. I was hoping to have been able to address it on this meeting, but this is upon Encore to define any extra right-of-way that they would need for the Berry operation, and that's what we're waiting for. And I have spoke with them this, actually last week, towards the end of the week, to remind them of that. Other than that, the item 12, adjourn. And I wanted to ask, do you have, anybody have anything on future agenda items you want to place?
The Encore power line. I don't want to get too much discussion here because it's not, I know if, and maybe Jerry bring this back when this is an agenda. But with Tri-County on the north side of the road, if utilities were buried, could utilities share that right of way where we could bury Encore and Tri-County?
I'll ask that
I'd just like
question.
to see if that could be reviewed.
I'll ask that question. And I'm sure the answer is if you'll pay for it.
Yeah, I
know
don't have an
that's what
answer
the
right
answer
now.
is. Nonetheless. All right, anybody, okay, let's go to item 12, adjourn.
Mayor Holsey, I move to adjourn.
Motion's made to adjourn. Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. The time is 8:43 p.m. Good job.